Being a fan and cheering for your idol has been a part of human history since we first started recording it. From the Romans and the gladiators to modern sports and K-pop idols, the desire to rally behind an individual and find out everything about their life seems to be inherently gratifying. But what is it that makes K-pop stars popular in Korea and sports stars popular in Western sports? And why is it that these two different things can create the similarly fervent fandoms?
After some extensive research and a meeting of the greatest minds of K-pop, we have found that the K-pop and Western sports fandoms are similar in their desire to be part of a community, and both are exceedingly commercialized. However, these groups are different in how they are introduced to their fandom, and different in their reasons for being attracted to their fandom. Therefore, we believe it is the childhood exposure which influences which activity they idolize. Hold on, we've kind of jumped right into it. Let's talk about what we mean by Western sports and K-pop fandoms. We'll be focusing on the four biggest sports leagues, which are the NFL, MLB, NBA, and the Premier League, and their associated fandoms. And for K-pop, we'll be looking at some of the most popular idol groups in the past decade. Big Bang, EXO, Girls' Generation, BTS, you get the idea. Let's take it back even a step further. What is a fandom? And Merriam-Webster says that a fandom is simply all of the fans of a sport, and those fans encompass something. But for us, it's more than just a collection of all the fans. It's the community created around the fans of a particular group or sport that defines a fandom. Now, let's delve into a little bit of community psychology to define what we're talking about here and what we mean by community. There's this paper by Macmillan and Chavis, and they say that there's four elements which influence a person's sense of community, right? It's the membership, influence, integration, and fulfillment of needs, and also shared emotional connection. An interesting thing is that these elements are actually dynamic and can affect one another. And most specifically, it's these elements that make up what a community means and are met by both of our chosen fandoms. It's pretty easy to see the sense of community that both of our fandoms have. Both groups share a strong emotional connection with their fandom due to their shared interests. Through the medium of the idol, the sports star, that fans feel integrated into the community. For K-pop, this is demonstrated at the largest K-pop events. Dream Concert, for example, hosts the Color War, with multiple idols attending. The fans segregate themselves by their respective fandoms and display colors, banners, and most importantly the glowing light sticks to support their idols. The group with the largest number of members can easily be seen in the dark stadium. This, however, is not unique to K-pop fans. Sports fans have been representing their team's colors since recorded history, and they do the very same kind of segregation and team chants, which further distinguishes their team's fandom from the rival team's fandom. Both these fan groups, K-pops and Western sports fans, use colors to firmly draw the lines of fandom membership and feed into their sense of belonging and identification. The next similarity between these two fan groups is that the idols and the sports stars use their fandom to make money from companies. This reveals itself through merchandising and advertising. Sports fans buy jerseys, hats, and other sports merchandise to support their team, and this is especially lucrative for a place like the NFL, which has 33.8 million different people buying NFL merchandise in 2016. K-pop fans are also huge consumers of merchandise. They buy gutju with their idol's image or sign on it, like light sticks, fan shirts, keychains, posters, photo cards, and badges. Fans do a number of slightly fanatical actions, like buying billboards for the idol's birthday or sending truckfuls of food just to the set of a music video. These fan actions are called dokjeol, and by doing dokjeols, fans give themselves credit for raising the idol's value and leading them to success. They even go so far as to claim themselves as the mother of the idol, and that the fandom raised them since their debut. Another part of these commercialized businesses is the prevalence of advertisements. Both athletes and idols make a lot of money from selling products to their fandoms. Take LeBron James, for example. He is undoubtedly the best player in the NBA, and is paid as such. However, according to his Forbes magazine, he makes $42 million a year in endorsements from Coca-Cola, Nike, Kia, Samsung. This ends up dwarfing his NBA salary, which, at almost $31 million a year, is the highest in the league. Yet LeBron is more of the exception than the rule. Most players make nowhere near as much as money as the sports leagues themselves. According to CNBC, the NFL made $1.07 billion in sponsorship revenue in 2013 alone. This comes from major deals with DirecTV and Microsoft that are worth more than $4 billion over 4 years. These leagues make contracts with other large companies, and it seems to follow this business-to-business model, which is described in O's and Park's 2012 paper. K-pop idols are also making a lot of money from advertisements. Sometimes, just like LeBron, it is more than what they make from performing or from their songs. However, just like in sports as well, the real money is made by the companies. Companies like SM and YG have increased by 14% and 24%, respectively, since 2012. This can be attributed, in part, to their policy of placing advertisements in the body of the video, which started around 2012. This allows for the video to be shared on multiple platforms and the advertisements still to become across. Therefore, they can charge a higher price. To figure this out, we created a survey and circulated it around the internet. We collected results from 74 people to find out how they got introduced to K-pop and what activities they did as a kid. For most people, it was their friends that introduced them, and very few of them participated in active lifestyles as kids. Less than a quarter of those surveyed played sports or danced as kids. And the most popular thing to do was to watch screens. And while that certainly tells us a little bit what we think about K-pop and their introduction, we wanted to go to talk to the people in person. So we sent Lilac and Annie to the Hard Rock Casino in Coquitlam and interviewed several people who were lining up for Hyuna's North American tour in Vancouver.
Friend introduced it to me, I think.
To K-pop or my girlfriend?
My friends did.
She introduced me like last year.
She introduced me to K-pop.
Like in high school, around grade 9.
Honestly, it was just cruising through YouTube and found a random video and clicked on it and said, hey, this is kind of catchy, and found more related videos.
I saw it on YouTube first.
Girls' Generation.
YouTube for sure.
Bubble Pop by Hannah. My sister actually has some songs on her computer.
Unlike the K-pop fans that we just saw, Western sports fans seem to be greatly influenced by their family ties and regional representation. In Dix's article, for example, he talks about family and its influence on children's behaviors. He says, quote, football fandom cultures are self-perpetuating due to self-propagating histories and accrued personal experience, end quote. The children end up liking it because it's a shared family experience. And if that experience is lacking, then maybe attachment to sports might be as well. The activities that they are enrolled into as kids will maybe influence their chosen fandom. Our admittedly flimsy evidence has K-pop fans playing sports less than 25% of the time, but more than 60% of Canadian youth are playing organized sports as of 2014. This increased exposure to sports over here in the West could have a role in choosing adult fandoms. Another thing we wanted to find out was why is it that K-pop fans like K-pop?
Singers are all pretty and they're all talented.
I really like their music videos because they're always pretty creative and colorful.
Dancing, the performance, the live performances.
With their album covers.
The fashion, the dance is very interesting to me.
The girls are good looking. Pretty girls.
Hey, I like the girls.
From the data we've collected and from what we've just talked about, it seems like the main reasons that K-pop fans like it so much is because of the aesthetics. From the looks and the music videos, it's packaged as a video, it's packaged as this advertising this face, and so it's one and the same, the look and the music, and that draws people together. Just as Kent and Jungmin stated, quote, the variety of K-pop culture videos on YouTube played a crucial marketing, distributional, and advertising role in promoting K-pop as a popular entertainment form worldwide, end quote. This is backed up from the data. Here we have results from the Korean National Youth Policy Institute, and they found that a majority of Korean students after elementary school either do not do any physical activity or only do 30 minutes per week. In contrast, North America, 60% of the kids from 5 to 18 play sports outside of school, and a team or two. It's pretty easy to see the difference. Since sports are not really an option for many Korean and Asian students, it seems that they turn to screen time to find that sense of community that is often found in sports for many Western people. It allows them to connect with people they wouldn't necessarily know and have a mutual bond that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise.
We believe that it's the nature of the activities that are done during the formative years that causes the differences between these two fan groups, Western sports and K-pop fans. And while these are certainly generalizations, they seem to explain the differences between the two. But let's not think about the differences. Let's instead celebrate the passion of these two groups and the community that they create. You know, some may criticize me for having seemingly different worlds and having passion about both of them, but
and I'm gonna get down. I love you. And I'm gonna get down. I love you. And I'm gonna get down. I love you. Girl, I wanna get down.